Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk. How are you, Tom?
I'm well, and I hope you are too, Nathan.
I'm very good, mate. Right, let's open up with the tragic news of the passing of a legend and a great, marvelous Marvin Hacker. Was one of the best of his era.
Yeah, I would say he was probably one of the best middleweights of all time. He was remarkable. I mean, I followed his career before he was champion and his rise to the middleweight championship when he defeated Alan Minter in Britain. And I recall his fight. He was trying to get a fight with Monzon, but Monzon didn't want to fight him and retired without fighting him.
Yeah.
He was chasing Monzon, and then that fight never happened. And he would actually go to Philadelphia and fight the fighters who were considered at the time the toughest fighters in the United States, where Joe Frazier was from. And he'd go down there and go and try to find the toughest fighters he could fight so he could learn. So he came up the hard way. He didn't get his title shot until 51 fights in.
Crazy.
Yeah, and he had a couple of losses and a draw against Santafermo in his first fight, and then after he beat Alan Minter, who defeated Antifermo, he fought Antifermo again and stopped him in like the fourth round on cuts. But he was at the end of a couple of bad decisions, but it didn't stop him. I mean, imagine now a guy like that, coming up with the networks the way they are now and the promoters. Hagler didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to fight the best fighters. He wasn't protecting himself. He was learning every time he fought. So when he finally won the title, he cleaned out the middleweight division.
Can I make a point that he started fighting in his high school?
Mm-hmm.
From what I listened to a podcast, said he did it. He fought in his like 18th birthday or whatever in his school, which I find. But he had like 4 or 5 losses before he even won the title, like 50 fights in. But each loss he learned from it, which was good. Fighters don't get that kind of luxury anymore. If you're a prospect now, if you lose now, that's it. You're done. They see you as done in today's world.
Exactly. But see, what happened was he kept getting better because he kept training and he kept getting better and better and better and more dramatic. I mean, guys would be pouncing. I mean, Tommy Hearns, that fight with Hearns went down in history, but Tommy Hearns hit him so hard. Marvin had such a chin. He hit him so hard that Tommy Hearns broke his right hand and couldn't put him out. He couldn't do it. And he had a couple of hometown loss decisions, but he said when he fought, I think, Willie the Worm Monroe, who beat him, Monroe was a great mover. And he says, at the end of the fight, he says, well, I learned a lot. I learned that I got to learn what this guy does. And he came back and knocked him out. He lost to Bobby Boogaloo Watts.
Is that Monroe guy, the father of the guy who fought Billy Joe Saunders by any chance?
No, this is Willie the Worm Monroe. This is before Billy Joe Saunders was even alive. Okay, that had nothing to do with
it. No, what I meant, I thought that Monroe guy was his son, the guy who fought Marvin Hacker.
I don't know. I'm not sure. And Hagler only had, I think, 2 losses by decision and 3 losses by decision. The last one, of course, being to Sugar Ray Leonard, who I still think he won that decision. It was a close fight, but, he wanted to retire before that Leonard fight. So I'm not surprised he didn't take the rematch. He just went off and started doing films.
He made a lot of money from boxing, didn't he? From what I believe. I don't know.
Yes, he did not have an entourage, but he was very loyal to his trainers, Goody and Pat Petronelli. The manager said to him, listen, why are you paying them so much? He goes, they're going to get their percentage, same as always. And if you bring it up again, I'm going to fire you.
Who said that?
Hagler said that to his manager. When he said you should cut the money that he was giving his trainers, when he was starting to make money. And he said, if you bring that up again, he goes, no, they're going to get everything. They were with me from the beginning and stuck with me. He was loyal. And he said, if you bring it up again, I'm going to fire you.
Now it's funny because, Hagler don't want to talk bad about the deceased or whatever the case is. But I was reading a report the other day, like none of the four kings are going to a funeral or went to a funeral. None of the four kings, Duran, Leonard, or Hearns. They didn't have, all right, you know how, let me say, like Foreman and Ali was a little cordial towards the end, like after the defeat. Holmes and Foreman, they kind of cordial towards each other. Even Riddick Bowe and Evander Holyfield, like guys that went through wars, they still respected each other after the wars went over. You know, like in hindsight, that they came to help cement each other's legacy by being in that fight. Like Hagler there was a report like Hagler and Hearns during that fight, the buildup when they was doing the press conference, he started to really despise Hearns, and that's why the fight came out the way it looked, right? He really started despising Hearns, and he didn't want to speak to him and all this other stuff. When he was about to fight Duran, he said something about Duran is a dirty fighter. Anytime Duran is losing, he's going to start to do dirty tricks and stuff like that. And then obviously with the Sugar Ray, he was mad that Sugar Ray didn't admit that Hagler won the fight, you know? So like he had like a little animosity towards like certain things within boxing. But he did say that famous line that I keep repeating to people. It's hard to wake up. It's hard to wake up at 4 a.m. to go training when you're waking up in silk sheets and silk pajamas.
But
that's right.
I don't want to be disrespectful, but this paints him to be a bitter man when he wasn't like that at all. But about that Leonard fight, I know he was bitter about it to the day he died.
He didn't fight anymore after that. He retired.
But
he wanted to retire before the fight. You know, he was pretty much done by that point. After fighting John the Mugabe, he was pretty much done. He didn't want, you know, the guy was, you know, he had a great career, and Sugar Ray avoided him and embarrassed him a couple of years earlier. He thought they were going to fight and make a big gate, and Sugar Ray said, but unfortunately, no, in the ring, and it really pissed him off. And Marvin came up the hard way. He didn't get his title shot until 51 fights in against Minter.
I mean, Hagler was definitely probably the part of that animosity. Sugar Ray was the golden boy at that time, you know, the Olympic medalist and all of this other stuff. Yeah. So he was getting the commercials and all of this other stuff.
Right. Yeah, I know. It was funny. But he was a great middleweight, though. He was one of the greatest, I believe.
Oh, without question. I mean, his personality or whatever he was outside the ring has no bearing on his abilities inside that ring, because he was definitely one of the tough. That Mugabe fight was crazy.
I know.
That was the fight that Sugar Ray said, you know what, I think I could handle Hagler now. When he saw Mugabe, you know, like I guess got hit a few times by Mugabe, but he was taking them punches, laughing at Mugabe. I think it was in the 7th round or something when Mugabe hit him with a big solid uppercut, and he just lifted his head up and then smiled at Mugabe and just kept coming.
Is that it? Is that it?
Yes.
Can I be honest, guys? Because I wasn't into boxing when he was boxing, I feel a little bit jealous because you've had all those moments to see his career, to see what it was, how good it was. I've only seen.
Well, watch his fights in order, and you'll see how great he was.
It's just, you know. So
I was telling Tom the other day that was him and Sugar Ray was like one of the first fights I went on my own.
Wow.
Or at the Apollo Theater on closed, you know, they had the big screen and all of that.
I've seen that fight, and I tell you what, the difference between the two fighters, obviously Sugar Ray Leonard was schooled and he had the Olympic medal. And as you say, Hagler came up the hard way, the 1950s one, you know, the old school one. And that's what he was. He's like the Bernard Hopkins, isn't it? Of his era, I guess. That's
you could say that, yeah.
That's how I
could say that.
That would have been a good fight, those two.
So I have immense respect for Marvin Hacker and for Ben Hopkins, but I've seen a lot more Hopkins. When you've seen more of people, like, because obviously Spencer, you grew up watching him.
I get it. That's
you know, Spencer, we have to give Nathan an assignment, you know, a study assignment
to watch some fights, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll give you an assignment, Nathan. We'll
Okay.
get you caught up to boxing history.
You know
So
what?
my history is just certain
Wouldn't mind being an idea? Like I think Nathan had said this a while ago. Like we like talk about one of the old school fighters, like reflect briefly on their career, and like revisit one of the past greats.
I know Joe Lewis.
Without them having to pass away in order for us to speak about them.
Which is sad, isn't it? I've watched a lot of Joe Lewis. A lot of the people I've watched are either dead, to be honest, like the Joe Lewises and the Ali. But I watched a lot of early stuff when he was alive, because obviously.
A lot of the old guys would be dead. Leon Spinks had passed away too. Did we ever do it?
We did. Yes, we did. We talked about it.
We did about.
Should we have this as a whole show to Hagler, or what? Because the way it's going, because we might have to do another show.
I mean, I don't have too much more to say about Hagler's career, but
okay.
Not to blast the whole show, but
we may have to do another show after this because we got a lot to cover. To be absolutely honest.
All right, well, let's move on.
We'll
That's
see.
fine. Marvelous Marvin Hagler was marvelous, and he was one of the greatest middleweights of all time.
Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys. Right, next, Chocolito loses to Estrada by split decision. I thought this result was a little bit, I didn't agree with the result.
You thought Chocolatito won?
No, I think it should have been a little bit closer than what it was.
There's only one judge that judged it far reaching. The other two judged it close. So I know a lot of people are using that narrative about it was a robbery and Chocolatito got robbed. But they basing it off of one judge's card. And I'm going to be honest. The judge that's in question is 3 rounds that he chose that's different than everybody else's. Round 3, he gave to Estrada 8 and I think 12, right? Those are the 3 rounds that he gave different. Round 3, in my opinion, could have went either way. Because I've re-looked at the fight just to see, like, what did this judge see in those 3 rounds? I didn't get a chance to rewatch 12, but I rewatched 3, and that was a close one. So him giving it to Estrada isn't like a stretch. 8, I would have maybe gave that one to Chocolatito. So that one would be a question mark. Again, 12, I didn't rewatch to confirm. But again, like I said, the other 2 judges had it close. They had it like 7-5 either way. So the narrative that a lot of people saying that the guy was robbed, I don't think is accurate.
I agree. I don't think it was a robbery. And I could see why it went the way it went, because Estrada, first of all, is a bigger guy, and he was a little bit more physical and aggressive. So it looked like in the rounds that were close that he could have been winning, even though Chocolatito was on the inside, was scoring more. But,
right.
Yeah.
That judge might have seen something different from his angle.
Yeah, it's all according to whether you like anchovies or pineapple on your pizza. You know what
exactly. So that's why I'm like, if the guy thought that Estrada won round 3, then it's not a far, which was a close round, then it's not a far stretch to think that same guy thought that Estrada won 8.
I personally think that Chocolatito shouldn't be at this weight. He should be at the weight right below it, because the guys in here have an advantage of weight advantage over him, and he's shop worn. I mean, he's taken a lot of punishment.
He's been through a lot of wars.
Exactly. Now, Surin Visai won by destroying that other guy. You heard the punches in that fight were so strong. So Estrada is going to fight him again. And that's going to be another rematch, correct?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. And then if Chocolatito's in that mix, I'd hate to see him back in the ring with Surin Visai. Right. I'd hate to see him again.
We better move on.
Chocolatito is looking at a trilogy no matter what.
Yes. It's money time. He's making money.
Well, we better move on because we've got loads.
All right.
Deontay Wilder is to receive a multi-million-pound payoff to allow the Anthony Joshua Fury unification fight. I think this is the right decision, and he should take it.
Easy money. If the report is $10 million, so hell yeah, I'll take $10 million to not fight.
Yeah, he should take it, but he should fight if he wants to continue to have some respect as a heavyweight.
Yeah, he needs. Karen.
Yeah, no, go ahead, Nathan.
He needs to fight someone outside the top 20 just to get a win and get his confidence back. That's what I do.
He needs a new trainer. He needs a new trainer, man.
Yeah, but
he fucked up. Like, of the two trainers, you release Mark Breland.
Yeah, well, the other guy's going to tell him what he wants to hear.
And JD's is his friend from like before he started boxing, or as soon as he started boxing. So I mean, the relationship, the loyalty, I guess that's the reason why. But yeah, you cannot rely on JD's alone.
No. He needs somebody in there who could like psychologically get his head on straight.
And somebody that when he's in the fight, in the ring, to keep him focused, like don't let him drift off too much. Not that he listens to somebody in the corner, but
yeah. Well, it's like what Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Okay. We've got
Holyfield versus Tyson. Will you go?
No, we're going to talk something else. Bativiev is going to be fighting Diniz this weekend, defending his title.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about
Beterbiev.
Yeah, Beterbiev.
Beterbiev, yeah. Well, if you've watched Dean's, he's a very strong puncher and he's a very solid guy. This should be a punch fest because Dean's is slow, but he's very strong and he comes in. He likes somebody that's coming at him. I've watched him a couple of times and it should be a good war. I think, Beterbiev has the skills to beat him. But somebody's getting knocked out in this fight. I don't see this going as a decision.
Yeah, you were saying that before.
Yeah. Beterbiev, I think, has too much skill for him, but it'll be fun.
While it lasts.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to Maurice.
And Beterbiev can get dropped because he got dropped by Callum.
Yeah, he's vulnerable. He's definitely vulnerable. But I think that Bativiev will overcome it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he should win.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. will be fighting Maurice Hooker for the WBO International Lightweight.
Man, he's going to destroy Hooker.
Yeah, Hooker.
I thought it was going to be a good scrap, but then I'm looking at it. It's like, yeah, Ortiz might demolish Hooker.
Let's look at the signs of Maurice Hooker's career. He's always been vulnerable. He's always looked average against poor opposition. Like when he fought Dallas Perez. I remember saying this guy doesn't look that great. And the fact that he won the world title and managed to keep it for so long, to me, is a miracle.
Well, it was who he was fighting.
Terry Flanagan.
It was who he fought that got him the title.
Terry Flanagan, yeah.
And then he fought his mandatory in, what was that guy's name from Dallas? No, Hooker's from Dallas. The guy's from Oklahoma City or something. Somewhere. He was from Nebraska. I think he was from Terrence Crawford's town, and Hooker was.
I can't remember his name, but I know what you're talking about.
Because that was the fight that Bud and Spence was in the locker rooms or something, and they had the interviews or whatever. That was that fight that Spence and Bud was talking in the locker room about. I got all these people that I got to fight before I come fight you and all of this.
Okay. So for me,
Maurice
Hooker. He's finished. He's had his day in the sun. So, and that's all. And it will be good night from Virgil Ortiz.
Well, we'll see. Like if Ortiz is what he's supposed to be, he should walk through Hooker. If he's
I've watched Ortiz fight. I watched his career, and he's become a very complete package and a strong puncher. He developed good left hook to the liver, a good overhand right. He's got a lot of power in his right, and he can take you out with either hand.
Right,
and Hooker's been vulnerable to that type of an attack.
Right,
I had heard that was over the limit by like a half a pound, but that they still let the fight go on as a welterweight contest.
Right, guys, we've got one more fight card to cover, then we can talk about the breaking. So we've got a card with the Lawrence Okoli Glowacki guy. Let me just pull it up in front of me quickly. Where the hell is it? Here it is. Yeah, so the undercard's not up to much, so we'll go straight to the main event. I think this is the fight Lawrence Okoli should win.
Yeah, wait a minute. Who say the name again?
Glowacki
will be fighting.
Glowacki.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a formidable cruiserweight. He's a legit cruiserweight. And if Okali could get past him, then he's definitely ready.
It's going to be tough. This is going to go.
Did he say he going to heavyweight if he wins this? Okali?
Possibly, yeah. But he's not big enough. He's not big enough, and he hasn't got the experience. He's not like David Hayward. He's not like that. He's
so
very hard
hitting. Bridgerweight. Yeah,
he'll probably go to Bridgerweight. Yeah, but he's strong. He's tough. But he's never been in anybody of this level before, It's unknown. We've got a lot of unknowns.
I've watched both of these guys fight. I was doing my homework on this, and I think Okali should win in this fight. Glowacki.
Carry on.
But what?
Ideally, in an ideal world, he's not. This is too soon. In an ideal world of boxing, this is too soon. The same as what Anthony Joshua was, realistically. But because of the pandemic, they've had to rush him along. And this opportunity, you can't turn down a title shot, right? So they've had to take it. If he loses, then it will be more experience for him, If he doesn't lose badly, then he can learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a good fight, yeah.
Yeah, I think he has more skill than Glowacki, even though Glowacki has more experience.
Glowacki's got many miles on the clock. So he's fighting Glowacki. He won't have a better chance of beating Glowacki. It's almost in the same situation as when, what's his name, that other British light heavyweight fought Kovalev. But it's not, if you know.
Who are you talking about?
When Yard fought Kovalev. Similar, we thought, Yard should really win this. So if he loses, then we can say he wasn't ready. And that's
there was this one British heavyweight that fought this guy that had a lot of miles on his tank, and that people didn't think he was going to win. And he seems to be running around paying Deontay Wilder $10 million to step aside. So, so who knows? Okali might do a fury on us.
Yeah, Okali should win.
I think really the good thing that sells this fight is Okali ready. Is Okali good enough? Is Glowacki? Glowacki got left. We don't know.
That's what makes the fight interesting. It's his time to step up. This is his biggest step up fight for Okali. Is he ready? Is he ready to get promoted? Is he, ready to graduate or whatever the term you want to use? Is he ready? And does Glowacki have anything left?
I think it'll be a good scrap. Okali, first of all, he came in just under the limit at 199.4, and the other guy came in at 195.8. And Okali is bigger. He's got longer reach. He's just has the physical advantages. Now, if he has if he could overcome the experience edge, I think he'll take him.
But he's no David Hay. He's no David Hay or Tony Bellew. He's not like them, those guys. So he's different to them guys. And I don't think he'll ever be as good as...
I do not know why you mentioned Tony Bellew, but okay.
He loves those guys.
But what I'm saying...
He was doing all right with David Hay, but...
What I'm saying is he's no David Hay. He's no David Hay.
No. Now, again, like I said, we got to see, because Glowacki, we all agree he's definitely the more experienced guy. So this will be a good test for us.
But you've got weak champions. You've got the WBC cruiserweight champion. He's very weak. That Macabre is a very weak champion. So
yes, well, if he beats Glowacki, then he should be able to well, he said he want to move up to heavyweight, but if he beats Glowacki, then he should be able to beat some of the other champs.
Well, Macabre is a good fighter, but he has no chin. But that's all. If you can get
maybe they could set that up next.
Right. Anyway, so what was the next thing on the agenda?
Well,
Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, okay. So let's kick off with that then, guys.
Well, he hasn't signed the papers yet, and I saw Mike on that show with Canelo. I don't know if you guys watched it.
No.
Mike was pretty high in that show. So
Mike is
I
always
don't
high.
know. I don't know if Mike is stalling or if Mike, I think Mike doesn't really want to fight Evander again.
Because they're friends, because he doesn't want to lose.
Well, I don't think it's a matter of being friends. There's so much surrounding this, so many demons surrounding their two fights, and he got his ass kicked twice.
He
by
really needs to
Evander.
look at another fight. If he can look at somebody else, someone like a Danny Williams, bring Danny Williams.
I think Mike could win this fight without a problem.
So do I.
It's Evander's gotten much slower than Mike, but I think psychologically there's a psychological thing going on here, and Mike considers Evander to be a beast.
Would
He
there
said it
be
himself, he's a beast.
Would anybody pay to see him fight Danny Williams in a rematch? Because Danny Williams is so shot now.
I mean, you got to think there'll be somebody to pay to see Mike Tyson fight. But
Yeah, but not as much with Danny Williams.
oh, definitely you're gonna get more. You're gonna get more buyers seeing a part 3 to Holyfield than you would
Oh,
seeing
we get
Danny
Buster
Williams.
Douglas out of retirement to commentate this fight.
Buster Douglas, forget it. We might as
Well,
well
is he
get
too
rid of
fat
Bo. Those guys are shot.
Yeah, we can't.
They have brain damage, man.
Or
Yeah,
even get
Riddick
Lennox
Bowe
Lewis.
especially.
Can we get Lennox Lewis in there?
Mike Tyson might be better off trying to get somebody like a blown up light heavyweight or cruiserweight instead
Someone
of trying
like-
to get full instead of trying to get full-fledged heavyweights to come back.
There's a British
That's-
guy who was a cruiserweight who used to spar with him, Glenn McCory. That would be the perfect opponent for him.
Yo, Mike Tyson should fight your boy.
What, Frank Bruno?
No, Christopher Lovejoy.
Right, let's move on to that, actually.
Yeah, let's
talk about-
segue right into Christopher Lovejoy.
Yeah.
So you follow away with this. So
Yo, I'm like, this guy is the most. His news reports and interviews is probably longer than his career.
Oh my God.
Yo,
Well,
that's what's keeping his career alive. Is talking about he the GOAT and he got the perfect
God.
record. Yo, this guy is funny. I wouldn't mind, but he called out 4 guys. He called out Babbitt. He called out Dave Allen, Joe Joyce, and there was somebody else. I can't think of the 4th person. It was 3 was with Hearn though. Babbitt, Dave Allen, and somebody else. And then
Alan
he called out
Babbage
Joe.
and Alan Babbage, they should feed him to Alan Babbage. Alan Babbage will knock him out, spark out.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that.
they should fight. Yeah, he should fight somebody that is recognizable.
Yeah.
Maybe they could get him to fight Gerald Washington or Dominic Brazil.
Okay. Oh God.
This is why sometimes boxing is a circus,
Yeah, because
sorry, Kerry.
if you can't beat those guys, then he's done.
We had some breaking news today, guys.
What happened?
Basically, it's been announced that Joseph Parker will be fighting Derek Chisora on British pay-per-view on the 1st of May. This came in about 3 hours before the podcast started.
They got a couple of people on that fight card too.
Yeah, I can tell you who's on it. Katy Taylor, Chris Eubank, Dimitri Bivol, and Derek Chisora. Right, I'll start at the bottom. Eubank will be fighting a guy called Marcus Morrison, who is a British level middleweight.
He's very slow. I watched him fight. He's very slow.
He's terrible. He's not terrible. He's just not well level.
He's very slow.
It's
You
not a bad
run right over him.
But it's not a bad fight considering he's been out 2 years, is it?
Yeah, I mean, to give him back into some tune-ups and stuff, I guess that'll be a good one.
But that
Same thing for Bivol.
Yeah, but Dimitri Bivol will be fighting a British level guy called Craig Richards, who is not worthy of a title shot at all.
I think I seen him fight too.
He's a good fighter,
Craig
but
Richards.
he's not world level. He's nowhere near world level.
Yeah, but Bivol been out for a minute too. Bivol talking about going to 168. Saying
Crazy.
he'll go to 168.
Yeah,
Which
Canelo won't fight him though.
yeah, and he might if he try to squeeze his ass down to 168.
And then
He'd be
we've got Katy Taylor against Natasha Jonas, a woman who is like 38 years old. She's fairly decent.
No.
She's a good
Why they
fighter,
not
but
setting up?
she's not on Katy Taylor's level at all.
Why they not setting up Katy Taylor versus Serrano?
I don't know, because they just wanted to fight someone just for the sake of it, just to get her warm with them. And then she'll fight McCaskill against
What
her.
is she? McCaskill? Who's fighting McCaskill again?
I'm saying McCaskill should probably look to rematch Katy Taylor
For the undisputed welterweight.
Yeah.
And then the winner of that fight Shields.
Yeah.
Yeah. McCaskill even looked better this time around against what's her name? Breakus.
Oh, she looked really good, yeah.
Yeah, she looked even better.
So
Yeah,
anyway.
like you thought it was a fluke last time?
No, I didn't expect
That's what she's telling people.
Breakfast
Like
is
y'all
just
thought it
horrible.
was a fluke last time when I beat her. I'm gonna make it more impressive this time.
Yeah,
I think the problem is that Baraka's just got old. That's all.
Yeah,
That's all.
that could be it too.
Well, she was making these really bad mistakes of pulling back and opening herself up for the overhand right consistently, and not using her size and leverage. She would just stand straight up, and she was a sucker for that punch every time it landed.
Before we
moving on.
So, so the main event, Derek Chisora against Joseph Parker. This is a crossroads fight. I don't know how many times I said that about Derek Chisora, but this is a fight that Joseph Parker should really win. Come on, if he's got any ambition left in his career.
Of course.
Who the last person? Oh, I guess Chakam.
Usyk.
I was gonna say, who the last person that Chisora beat? Not fought, beat.
It was
of significance.
Let me have a look. Taka.
It's Carlos Takam, and he was losing that fight. He got lucky with a knockout.
Yeah, right. I
just go to the records so I can get the record.
I have it here.
Chisora, I mean, he's been in good fights with. I wouldn't really call that Usyk fight a good fight. I mean, he introduced.
He competed.
Yeah, he competed. He did the best he could do, but it wasn't like Usyk was gonna lose that fight. The two Dylan White fights is good.
Usyk looked like a ballerina in that fight.
I've got to be honest. I think Junior Farr would beat Derek Chisora from what I've seen.
Possibly, yes.
Most definitely.
I could see it. Yeah.
And I have to be honest. This is you say Chisora is a step down fight because at this point I'd say he is, but not commercially. Not commercially. Not as a ticket selling one. But
I mean, I don't even know what Chisora should be the guy. Like Joseph Parker really shouldn't be fighting Chisora, in my opinion. But Chisora should be fighting the guys like Yoko and those dudes to see if they ready for the other guys.
But the problem is
he's a straight gatekeeper.
The problem with Chisora is the fans love him, and obviously if people like you, popularity sells tickets, right?
Yeah. He's a seller, so he definitely brings it. But
really, he shouldn't be getting these opportunities anymore in the real world, in an ideal world.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he's a gatekeeper level guy. He should not be on no main event pay-per-view. But hey, more power to the guy. I'm not gonna knock the guy for
this
making
man
money
has
if
had
they
a
giving
great
it to
career.
him.
Right. If he can make money, let him make
money. If they giving him the money, take it.
Yeah. Take it. Try not to get hit too hard in the head.
But Chizora's form here, right? His form. Dillian White lost, Senegashi won, Spilka won, David Price won, Usyk lost. He should have had a warm-up fight before he took this fight. 2 losses in a row. One, it's not good. Going off another paper, coming off another loss. And then Joseph Parker's opposition, well, his opposition has been terrible. Apart from Farr, his opposition has been awful.
Well, he fought AJ.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is, since he lost those 2 fights, he's been fighting awful fights.
Well, I mean, because he got it. He can't get you got to be able to get a fight.
Yeah.
If you want to make an analogy to someone else, like on this side of the pond, he's kind of reminds me of Stavern. Is still lingering on, and Still, still
Who,
the
Chisora?
fans want to see him.
Yeah, but he's not shot as what
It's
he
kind of
was.
like Stavern is now, like he can fight
Maybe
again.
Areola.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll see him. He might give a good showing depending on who the opponent is.
Okay.
Stay awake, Nathan.
In other news, we got 9 minutes left. In other news, Michael Wallace won at the weekend. So did Demarestian, and so did, who was the other guy? There's another prospect before.
I don't know about these guys, but I'll tell you this. I put up video, late breaking news of McGregor stopping Gurfey and
In a minute,
Highland.
in the first round or something.
Yeah,
Like
and
2
you
minutes into the
stopping
round.
Highland. You could watch those videos right now and see how they did, because I got to say, the one with Hughes, he hit the guy when he turned his back on him, and McGregor did it with body shots, and it's right up there right now if you want to take a quick look at it, right on Main Event. But
because that one I had put I had put the articles on that too.
Right, you
Lee
did.
McGregor.
The video is up there.
I'm about
if you
to
want to
look.
look at him, it's very short. Look at this knockout that what's his name did, the guy I just said that he
Lee
turned his
McGregor?
back on.
Oh,
the other guy.
Who's that? Who's
David Benavidez won earlier this week. We forgot to mention.
Yeah, Benavidez is going to fight. What's his name? Charlo.
No,
that's not signed yet. That's not signed yet.
And also, what about the premature announcement of bloody Eddie Hearn with the Fury fight?
Yeah, well, yeah, but now they did it, right? They came to an agreement.
I don't even know if it's on Box Rec. Let me check if it's on Box.
Yeah. Are you watching Maxi Hughes?
I'm trying to get to it now. I can't do that while I'm on our phone, so I gotta go on my TV. I'm just gonna go to the.
Oh, okay.
What's the guy name?
Watch what Maxi Hughes. It's
Highland,
there.
right?
It's on Main Event. You'll see it says worst referee ever. Maxi Hughes stops Paul Highland, and above it is the McGregor one.
Fighter. Good pin number fight.
Well, I tell you, I think Lee McGregor is going to be a good fighter. I mean, I think he's going to be, a contender.
He should fight
watching
Maloney.
him.
He should fight Maloney.
No Maloney. Yeah.
He should fight Maloney. McGregor should fight Maloney.
I don't really watch the cards that Frank Warren puts on because they're pretty awful. Some of his cards, to be honest.
Well, Lee McGregor.
Ain't this an MTK Global fight? Is that McGregor? Ain't that ain't?
I don't know. I just pulled these off of YouTube.
On the floor, it say MTK Global on the screen. You hear them below the nuts?
No, I don't think so. Are you watching McGregor?
Yeah. No, I'm watching the Holland fight. Listen, I can't get to the thing that you posted because I'm on my phone and I can't get to the Facebook. So I put it on YouTube. I got the fight in front of me on YouTube, and I went to.
I'm just getting it now, that Liam McGregor. I'm just going to look at the knockout. It's all on IFL TV. The whole thing was streamed 2 hours ago, so it's all on IFL TV. I'll post it now to you guys.
But this one with Hughes, he hit him a body shot. It looked like a left hook to the liver, and then he turns his back, and the referee says fight, and he runs up behind him and just KOs him.
So you think he shouldn't have done that because the guy had his back turned?
No, the referee said go, you go. The guy turned his back. In boxing, when you turn your back, that's the end of the fight.
Yeah, you gave up. You walked away.
He was covering his side. He was covering his left side. No, his right side, whatever. He got hurt with the body shot and he turned away, and the referee said fight.
Wow.
Here you go.
Knockdown, and that was brutal, the body shot. Then he's up again. And there's a minute left.
Watching McGregor, right?
Yeah, there's only a minute left on this footage. So I've just seen the first knockdown. Then he's whacking him. Oh, he's got some nasty body shots there.
Yeah, we're watching Maxi Hughes here. What happened in that fight?
Oh, wait. Here you go. Okay. What round did it end in? I can't. Yeah, I need glasses. I'm still old.
There's
The
whole
Hughes
thing.
fight ended in the first round.
The Hughes fight?
Yeah. Oh,
No, that's the
in 8.
McGregor fight.
Yeah. The Hughes fight ended in round 8.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Did you see that?
That was crazy. Like, why did he do that? Like, you as a boxer shouldn't have did that though. Like, that was crazy to do that as a boxer. Like,
Well,
you
the
know that dude.
referee.
I know. I mean,
The
there's
referee
no.
said fight.
No, I got it. But the dude ran up behind him and like and punched him like, like you knew he wasn't even like that was kind of wild. He was not. It wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal. But I'm just saying, like it just was wild to see somebody do. I guess it ain't the same. I was gonna say, I guess when Floyd punched Ortiz, knocked him out, but that ain't even the same. Ortiz was at least facing him, trying to give him 5 for headbutting him. Floyd was like,
well,
bing!
Ortiz wanted to get punished.
Yeah.
Ortiz should have known better. Protect yourself at all times.
Like you just intentionally headbutted Floyd and wanted to give him 5 while the ref is saying fight. Like, yeah, I.
He wanted to kiss and make up.
Yeah.
He wanted to kiss and make up. And Floyd said, "Okay, here
like,
it is."
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Now, what was the dude?
After he gets hit, he doesn't even put his hands up. He turns to the referee. It's like,
what was the McGregor versus who?
Girthy, I've sent it on YouTube.
GUERFI.
I've sent it in the group.
GUERFI. I'm telling you, Lee McGregor's going to make some noise if he keeps training right. Because I like his style. He's strong. He goes to the body and the head. And then also we have Joe Smith and Vlasov coming up soon at April 10th. That's going to be a good fight.
It's a great fight. It's a fight he should win.
Joe Smith?
Yeah, realistically, he should wipe this guy.
I hope so. I'd like to see him win.
He won't get another chance at a world title if he loses this. It's over. You know, he's improved so much in the last couple of years. You know. Yeah, what I'm saying with him
will probably fight Beterbiev.
The thing with him is that you can only improve so much being a brawler. You know, his boxing skills are nothing special. He's just.
Did he lose to Bivol?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, about 3 years ago. He's a tough man he's limited on skill, but he makes up for it with his toughness and his hard hit. So you know, someone like him can only improve so much, right?
Joe Smith is the ultimate Rocky story without the title yet, but he is definitely one of those guys that's like a construction worker, guy work at the butcher shop or some shit like that. That gets his training, that gets part of his training at work from the type of work he does.
Yeah, but he's never going to be an elite level fighter, and we all know that. You know, he's world class, but he'll never be elite.
Nah, because he wasn't trained to be like that.
No, he was trained to knock you out. That's what his job is, to knock you out.
Right.
That's his job.
He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
Well, the podcast is about to end now, so thank you for coming on, guys, and we'll be back.
Hey, we got everything. Rest in peace. We got everything in. All right.
All right. See y'all next time.
I enjoyed the show. Thanks, Spencer. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks again, guys.
See you guys next week.
All right.
Hey, yeah, cool.
Hey, bye.